there and welcome. You're about to watch a Lakehead International live webinar. It is a great way to explore what Lakehead University is all about. In this session, you'll hear insights and stories from Lakehead professors, staff, and current students. While watching, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. For now, let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to yet another Lakehead live session. Today, we are going to be talking about all things off-campus and accommodations, and we are so happy that everyone has joined us today. My name is Hadika Narankar, and I'm the International Name and Social Media Officer here at Lakehead University. And I am joined by three very special guests today who are going to help me run today's session. We have few members from our legal team, and we have a current student from Orillia. So I will let you all introduce yourselves, starting with the legal team members.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone. I'm Roddy Lynn Resnick-Kiniski. I'm the director of Lakehead University Community Legal Services, which is a free legal aid clinic here as part of Lakehead University. So if you ever, we'll get into a little bit more about what we do, but if you ever need some help or have some legal questions, you can always contact us at the clinic. And with me is Mandy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mandy Desi. I am the legal administrative assistant here at LUCALS. I'll be helping Roddy Lynn today with the information that we'll be providing you about what we do.
Perfect. Mateo?
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Mateo. I'm a fourth-year environmental sustainability student at Lakehead Orillia, and I am very excited to be here with you. I'm also the current international student assistant for the Lakehead University Orillia International Department.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you so much for all the introductions. And with that, we'll just get started. So we are going to be covering today a lot of things. So we'll start by talking about how to search for housing and where to look. Then we'll get into the key considerations, like when it comes to amenities, a location and housing style and property type. After that, Roddy Lynn and Mandy will walk us through the legal aspects of living off campus. Like really the important stuff when you're entering into a lease or tenancy agreement. We'll also cover budgeting, talk about living with roommates, and then we'll open it up for Q&A so that we can answer all of your questions. So with that, let's just get started. So let's start with searching for housing. One really important thing to know is that Lakehead University has campuses in three locations. So Thunder Bay, Orillia, and Barrie. There's a STEM hub in Barrie. And this year, we're excited to include our Barrie STEM hub in this conversation. So depending on which campus you're attending, the neighborhoods, the resources, and transit options are available to you and will be a bit different. Throughout the session, we'll make sure to cover all three locations so there's something relevant for everyone. All right, searching for housing. So where do you exactly start looking? The good news is that most of the searching you'll do for off-campus accommodations can be done fully online, meaning that you can start the process before you even travel to Canada, which is really helpful. First and foremost, Lakehead University has its own off-campus housing portal, which I'll talk about more on the next slide. But beyond that, there are housing agencies specific to each city. In Thunder Bay, Home Sweet Home and Rent Panda are popular options. In Orillia and Barrie, you can check out Love Properties or AG Secure Property Management or AMK. They also have local housing boards like Kijiji, which are really popular in Canada, and Facebook Marketplace tends to also have a lot of rental listings too. So do not underestimate the power of social media. Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups for Lakehead or city-specific communities are also a great way to connect with upper year students who might be looking for a roommate. And once you're in Canada, local newspapers are also another options. In Thunder Bay, that's the Chronicle Journal or tbnewswatch.com. In Orillia, it's Orillia Matters. And in Barrie, you can check out barrietoday.com or Barrie360. One important thing to flag, please be aware of rental scams. If something seems too good to be true, it might be. So if you're ever unsure, reach out to our International Student Services team and they'll be happy to help. Furthermore, I would like to highlight this resource in particular, which is the Lakehead University's very own off-campus housing list. You can filter by campus. So whether you're coming to Thunder Bay, Orillia, or Barrie, you can filter out by property type, amenities like laundry or a dishwasher, and more. All the listings are reviewed and approved by an administrator here at Lakehead before they go live. And they stay up on the site for around 30 days. So you know the listings are relatively current. There are also roommate listings on here, which is great if you're looking to connect with others who already have a place and are looking for someone to just join. So I really recommend starting your search here. In terms of timings, I would suggest starting your search with about 1 to 2 months before your planned arrival. So if you're coming in September, it might be a little early right now, as most landlords are looking for people to move in during the summer. Yeah. So I would suggest like 1 to 2 months is a good time to keep in mind. All right. So as you are searching, there are few key considerations beyond just the unit itself. Think about the neighborhood and what amenities matter most to you. Are there any grocery stores nearby? Is there access to employment if you plan to work part-time? Recreation centers or gyms, restaurants, and entertainment if you want to be in a more vibrant area. And of course, access to bus routes and stops. This is a really big one. A great tip, use Google Maps. Most rental listings will include the street address, and you can just use Google Maps to check what's nearby and how long the transit route to campus is, how many transfers you might need. It is a really helpful tool, especially when you're navigating this from abroad and aren't super familiar with the city yet. So talking about Thunder Bay location for students, international students coming to Thunder Bay, here's what you need to know about transit. So Lakehead University is actually pretty centrally located in the city, and there's a main bus stop right on campus at the Agora. The two bus lines that run through campus are the Crosstown, which is the number 2, and the Juno, which is the number 9. These buses run every 10 to 20 minutes at peak times, so you'll have pretty reliable service. Now, one of the most popular neighborhoods for students is around Academy Drive. It's close to campus and quite walkable also. There's also student housing to the south of the campus in the Northwood area, and some students live near the lighter green zones as well. So which is basically bikeable in warmer months. So even if you end up a bit further away and need to transfer, it's very manageable. Now the next few locations will be covered by Matteo.
Thank you, Hardika.
Yeah.
Well, this is Orillia. Lakehead University campus Orillia is located on the left south edge of the map in that little loop. We have two main routes on the bus. We have the Coldwater Road and the Old Barrie Road, which is basically one turns right, one turns left. That's easy. Both routes go all the way to downtown Orillia, which is pretty useful. As a Lakehead student, you will receive a bus pass at your orientation. So take that in mind. It's a little blue card and it works from August to the end of August next year. So it's a 12-month comprehensive bus pass, which is really handy. So make good use of your monies, which is like unlimited passes all year long. Also, as a Lakehead student in the Orillia campus, you get a fun pass, which is a free pass for you to use the rec center at downtown Orillia. We do have a gym, a small gym on campus on the resident side, But if you are a person that really enjoys the fitness life and would like to use the full gymnasium and full fitness classes that are offered at the rec center, that's a great place for you. It'll take like 15-minute bus ride from the Orillia campus to downtown to the rec center. So it's pretty useful if you are a really fitness person. Um, we have in downtown really a very varied, culturally speaking, of restaurants, of things to do. So you will be going out with some friends, exploring the city. We have lots of things to do in Orillia. And we have also a Walmart, which is like 5 minutes away from the Orillia campus on the bus. You just take the Coldwater Road, and it's basically Costco, Orillia, Best Buy. So all the handy stores for you to explore there. Now, moving on to Barrie. This is Barrie. I also lived in Barrie for 2 years, and the difference between Barrie and Orillia is that Barrie is a much bigger city. Because of this, we have a STEM hub in Barrie, and there's also a big college in Barrie, which is the Georgian College. We have partnership with Georgian College, with Lakehead University. And because of this huge presence in Barrie, there's lots of student accommodation there. So it's very handy for you to find a very varied accommodation in Barrie. The Barrie STEM Hub is 2 minutes away from downtown Barrie, which is really, really useful. Um, the good thing about Barrie is that, and the STEM hub is that it's literally 4 minutes drive from it, and you'll get to Allendale Waterfront, which is the GO terminal for Barrie, and it'll take you all the way to Toronto in 1 hour and a half. So that's pretty handy if you're a person that would like to go to Toronto for a weekend or go to Toronto for the afternoon and the evening. So it's really handy. I've used it a lot of times to go to Toronto. Let's say if you have a concert, if you have a gathering with friends, you just take the train. It'll take an hour and a half to go to Toronto, and the last train it's at 11 p.m. So it's really handy when talking about late night traveling from Toronto. And the good thing about Barrie is that it actually has two stops of the GO transit. One in downtown, which is the Allendale Waterfront Terminal, and the GO South train station, which is nearly the number 8 in the map on the gray lane. So that's really, really useful if you are a person that would like to explore Toronto as well.
All right. Thank you, Matteo, for that. So moving on, we'll talk about the types of housing that you'll come across. So in terms of housing style, you'll see houses, townhouses, duplexes, apartments, and basement apartments. So basement apartments tend to be a bit more affordable, and they are very legal and common in Canada, and most will have windows and proper amenities. You'll also want to think about whether you want to live independently or a studio or one bedroom just for yourself, or maybe a larger unit if you're coming with family, or whether you prefer shared housing where you'd have a private bedroom but a shared common spaces with roommates. Shared housing tends to be more affordable, and it's a great way to build community when you first arrive as well. So here are some visual examples of what different property type looks like. Apartments are in larger buildings with multiple units. They can be studio, one bedroom, or multi-bedroom, and they're quite convenient for students because things like snow removal and sometimes utilities are also included. Townhouses are row-style homes, one structure with individual units, and duplexes looks like a house from the outside, but are split into two completely separate units. And there are quite a few of these in Thunder Bay specifically. All right. Here are two more property types you'll commonly come across: full houses, which are popular, especially when a group of students teams up. And you might see listings for anywhere from 2 to 5 bedrooms, and basement apartments, as I mentioned earlier, tend to be more affordable and are a very normal and legal type of accommodation in Canada. Just make sure that you visit in person before signing anything, and you want to make sure that the space has proper lighting, natural light, and it just feels right for you. Now, a few of the next slides will be covered by Rodi Lynn and Mandy, talking more about legal aspects of living off campus. Over to
Yes,
you.
Yes, thank you. So we will be getting into some information about lease agreements and things to look at when you found a place and you do want to decide where you want to live off campus. We just wanted to start with a bit of introduction about a bit more about our clinic and how you may be able to access some of the services that we provide. So our clinic is in the law school in Thunder Bay, called Boralaskian Faculty of Law. There are 4 full-time lawyers here supervising law students. Mandy is a law student as well. And so our law students are in the clinic helping when they're in second year and third year, and they're supervised by our full-time lawyers. We also have 2 administrative staff members. So if you ever have a legal question and you want to know if we can help, we encourage you to call our clinic or come into our clinic, and our administrative staff will ask you a few questions just to make sure it is something that we can help with. Our student caseworkers that are our law students, we have about 24 of them during the school year, September to April, so lots of students willing to help. And in the summer, we're also here, and Mandy's one of 9 students that we have right now. So we're always here willing to answer any questions that you may have. Next slide.
So at Lakehead University Community Legal Services, also known as LUCALS, we have a valuable initiative that we've established here at Boralaskian Faculty of Law in collaboration with Legal Aid Ontario. So our services are free to those who qualify. It's not automatic for Lakehead University students, as it's fully funded by Legal Aid Ontario. So who are our clients? We serve low-income and vulnerable clients in Thunder Bay and the surrounding region by providing free legal services in various areas. So to qualify for our services, applicants must meet our financial guidelines, be within our geographical jurisdiction, and have a matter that falls within the scope of the matter that we work on. So the best way to find out if you qualify is to contact our office. You can also check out our website for more information, and we also have a Facebook page where we post upcoming events that we're doing.
All right, next slide, please. So a little bit about the different legal areas that we can help with. If you have any questions or you find yourself, needing some legal help. So provincial offenses. So the things that we see common here is if people are driving and they get some kind of a driving ticket. So charges under the Highway Traffic Act, if people are driving without insurance, if they have been speeding, things like that, or they have a suspended license. And sometimes you just don't know, and you've been pulled over, or someone who's been pulled over and they have a ticket. Not to stress, just make sure you give us a call and see if it's something we can help with, because we are able to help with those. Minor criminal code offenses, so this would be charges from the police for theft or assault, things like that. Landlord and tenant matters. This is the main thing we're talking about today. Not always are you maybe going to get along with your landlord where you're living. And so if you're living off campus and you have questions, we can definitely help. The things we see the most here are landlord and tenant matters for sure. So sometimes people have maintenance issues that their landlord isn't dealing with, right? Maybe you've moved into a place that has a fridge and a stove and it's already furnished, but maybe the fridge and stove isn't working and you need some help on how do I connect with the landlord? How do I get the landlord to fix these things? Or maybe the landlord has tried to increase your rent and you're not sure if that is a legal increase of rent or is it an illegal increase of rent. Those are the things that we can help with. So again, never hesitate to come in or give our office a call and let us know what's going on, and we can let you know if we can help you for sure. Small claims court and civil disputes. So again, these are the things we would see if maybe somebody has loaned somebody else money and they haven't paid them back. How do we get that money back? Things like that we can help with. And last but not least, employment law. So if you are working while you're here in Thunder Bay or in Ontario, and you're part of Lakehead University, and you're not sure about some of the rights that are happening for you as an employee, and you're not sure about, what your employer is doing, or maybe you've been dismissed and you're thinking, is this legal? Is this illegal? Those are other things that we can help with as well. Next slide.
So to reach out to us, you'll need to have a phone call with one of our administrative staff to confirm your eligibility, which will include your source of income. So don't be alarmed if they ask about that. That's part of the procedure. If you qualify, you will have full intake meeting with one of our caseworkers. Then our review council will decide if we're able to take on your file. If review council approves your file, we'll have you sign a retainer agreement with us. So you can also email us, and you'll be able to see our email on the screen at legalservices.law@lakeheadu.ca. We also have our website and our Facebook page there as well, which are good resources to learn more about what we do at LUCALS. So we are not located on main campus, but at the Passy building, which is part of the law school on Red River Road. So it's easily accessible by bus route from main campus. It'll probably be about 20 minutes with a bus route. If you're looking to walk, it's about 30-minute walk. And if you are driving, it's about a 5-minute drive.
Next slide.
Before we move on to the next layer, I did have a question whether these services are available for students in Orillia and Barrie online appointments and how the process works.
Yeah, so for the legal clinic in Thunder Bay, we can only help people who are living in the district of Thunder Bay. But if you are at Lakehead University in Barrie, you can still give our office a call and let us know that you may have a legal question. And we can refer you to not a student legal clinic, but there is actually other legal aid clinics in the Barrie area, and we can give you that information.
Perfect, sounds good.
All right, now getting into actual tenancy agreements. So once you have found a place that you think you'd like to rent, keep in mind that the best form of advice we can give you is to make sure that you're signing what you have here in front of you. This is known as the standard form lease agreement. So in Ontario, it's the Residential Tenancies Act. We'll be referring to it as the RTA. That is the law that governs the relationship between a landlord and a tenant. And under that law, it says that all landlords and tenants should be signing the standard form lease agreement. But not all landlords know that. So don't stress if you've already signed something and it doesn't look like this and it's not the standard form lease agreement. But if you haven't signed anything, encourage your landlord to say, hey, we need to sign a standard form lease agreement. In Ontario, it makes sure that it complies with the law. If you've signed something else, it may not necessarily comply with the law. That doesn't mean you can't live there. You can still live there. There's just certain things that your rights may not be necessarily protected if you're signing a different form of agreement. So definitely remember standard form lease agreement. Do know that by signing the standard form lease agreement, everything is going to be right before you. It should set out how much is rent, when is rent due, what's included in that rent. It's important to know if a parking space is included in that rent. Is air conditioning included? Are other utilities included? Who pays for those utilities? Is it the landlord or is it the tenant? Also, it's going to let you know, are there other roommates? Are you renting a whole house that's maybe a 3-bedroom house and you're responsible for the whole thing? Or is this an agreement that each person is signing on for a bedroom? And so you're all collectively signing the same agreement and you're collectively responsible for the rent. So by signing that standard form lease agreement, all of those questions are going to be answered because it sort of focuses on those main things, making sure that it's very clear who is in fact a party to that agreement and who is the landlord. A lot of times people don't necessarily know their landlord's true name. This agreement makes sure it's set right out for you, landlord's proper name and how to contact the landlord as well. Next slide.
So to make sure to review all pages, attachments, and any terms set out in the contract. Many free helpful resources are available, such as reputable online sources, and if you qualify, our clinic. So the RTA and the standard form lease also set out the laws on a few other important things, such as who's responsible for maintenance and repairs. For example, mold, broken tap, or toilet. When your landlord can enter your unit, they must give at least 24 hours written notice if it's not an emergency. So additionally, be aware that anything in the tenancy agreement that conflicts with the RTA is invalid. Some examples are popular invalid terms that include no pets clause, security deposits, excessive key deposits, cleaning deposits, and essentially any other deposits outside of last month's rent deposit or nominal key deposit, or any clause that claims to waive the rights, responsibilities, or obligations of either party under the RTA. So this is a big word of caution here. So if you share a kitchen or bathroom with a landlord or a family member of the landlord, you are no longer protected under the RTA. So this means that the standard form of lease does not apply and you're subject to whatever terms you agreed to when you moved in.
All right. That's all the information we have for you at this time. Don't hesitate to give us a call if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, both of you, for sharing the legal aspects of living off campus to our international students. All right, let's just move on to the next topic, which is budgeting, this is something that surprises a lot of first-time renters. There are many factors that can affect your monthly costs. So proximity to campus is one. Listings that are closer to campus sometimes run a little higher because of the convenience factor. So whether you are living independently or with roommates will have a big impact too. Shared housing is generally much more affordable. Something to pay close attention to on listings is whether rent is inclusive or non-inclusive. So inclusive means that your utilities like hydro, water, heat, sometimes even Wi-Fi are bundled into your monthly rent. And non-inclusive means that you would be responsible for those on top of your rent. So also think about all those things. And next up, you can also think about laundry. Is it in unit or would you need to go to a laundromat? And parking, if you plan on having a car, then that might come with an extra monthly fee. So all of these add up. So map everything out before you sign. So here's a helpful comparison with an independent apartment or house. If you have private access to everything, which is living room, kitchen, dining room, bathroom, but the rent is typically non-inclusive, meaning you'd pay utilities separately. With shared housing, you'd have your own private bedroom and share the common spaces with roommates, and the rent is usually inclusive. So one set monthly price that covers all your bills. That can make shared housing actually much more affordable overall. And it's also a great way to meet people when you're new to the city. So let's take a look at this housing and food cost comparison chart that we have made. I know it looks a lot, but let me just walk you through it quickly. The chart is split into two sides, which is undergraduate programs covering 8 months on the left and graduate programs covering 12 months on the right. And within each, you'll see columns for our 3 locations, which is Thunder Bay, Orillia, and the Barrie STEM Hub. For housing, each campus gives you a few options. So you can choose on campus, whether that's a dorm with a meal plan, an apartment or townhouse, or for Barrie students, we have a partnership with Georgian Green Residence. Or you can go off campus and rent your own 1-bedroom apartment. Generally speaking, Thunder Bay tends to be the most affordable option across the board, followed by Barrie and Orillia. So for food, if you're in a dorm in Thunder Bay or Orillia, great news, your meal plan is already included. But if you're in an apartment, townhouse, or living off campus, anywhere, you'll want to budget roughly around $400 to $550 Canadian dollars per month for groceries. Barrie's a little lower, around $300 to $350 per month. It also depends on your lifestyle and on your budgeting factors, on your choices. The numbers with the asterisks are market estimates, so actual cost may vary depending on the unit and what's included in your rent. We really encourage you to use this as a starting point for your own budget. And if you have any questions about these numbers, email us at welcome@lakeheadu.ca and we are happy to help. You can take a screenshot of the slide if you like for reference it later so you can make a decision. Most of these prices are estimates and can change as well depending on the market and season. All right, so with that, I will pass it over to Matteo again to just talk in general about roommates and how to live with them.
Thank you, Harika. So I'm going to explain very briefly the four key steps for a successful roommate. So your roommate can be either your best friend or your greatest nemesis. So that depends on you. First of all, is to discuss the norm rules of the house with them. So personal spaces, who gets to use and which times do we get to use the personal spaces, such as the living room, the garage, the parking spots, even the bathroom if you're sharing bathroom. How are you going to share the food if you're sharing any food, the clothes, electronics, maybe the laundry times you can set that up with your roommates. How is the dynamic of having friends or people over gonna work? Can you bring over your sister? Can they stay overnight? Where are they staying overnight? Maybe they can grab a couch or if that's okay with everyone. The sleeping hours. This is a very important one. Since you're students, you need to get a rest. You need to have a really good sleeping hour schedule. So talking with your roommates, when can we set quiet times for us to sleep? This includes also talking about the volume, study hours, and the chores. That's a very important part of the roommates. Since you're sharing the kitchen, the living room, the common area spaces, who gets to do the cleaning of those areas and how regularly you're going to do that. Also communication. So trying to speak with them, but also trying to listen. If there's a problem, whether it's a very minimum problem, really talk to them. There's always a solution for it, but you just need to talk and speak up about it. And then moving on to the next slide, the third step for it is to pick your battles. So normally students in their first year, they tend to live on campus. And then from that moment, they meet with new friends, and then they start to plan ahead for what's next after the first year. So if you do this, it's very convenient for you since the first year you're new, maybe you're even new to the country, new to the region, new to the area, and then you start meeting new people, you start making new friends, and then you get to know people better and then you can start planning ahead for future roommates. So living with someone else is about compromise and getting to know these people is also a really good part of the journey as a roommate and also find other friends. So your roommates are not only the only people that you can rely on during your life at school. You have classmates, you have friends out of your house. So making other friends, even friends out of school. Maybe if you work at some place, you can have friends there, and you can rely on them as well. And your family always. Don't forget about your family. And yeah, these are the four steps for successful roommates. What are some expectations for having roommates? So it's very important to have things clear and to have regular and very clear communication with them. So who is going to handle the payment of rent or the other joint expenses? as the legal team explained before, are you gonna share the lease, or is everyone gonna sign their lease? So that's very important for you to have in mind. Um, Author's possession, who will have access to them? Are you gonna have a lock for them? Um, are you gonna lock your room every now and then? So that's also very important. The guest and the party policy. Maybe you have a roommate that it's very that enjoys parties a lot. So talk to them about that. Also, the neighborhood in which you live in may have restrictions towards parties. Maybe they have like a curfew time for parties or anything like that. So just research about that. Cleaning, cleaning the kitchen, cleaning the living area, plowing the snow, um, all sorts of that. You need to talk to them. And it's also very good to like organize and set out responsibilities towards your roommates. Grocery shopping. Are you all gonna go and do groceries together? Maybe one of your roommates has a car and they can all drive you there to the groceries and then drives you back to the house. So that's also very important to have in mind. Mail, usually one person, if someone comes across a package or anything, they'll bring it home and then they will like give it to the person that it's intended for. But also talk about mail and packages and furniture. Sometimes your lease doesn't include furniture at all. So buying furniture, who's gonna buy this? Then who's gonna keep this after the lease is over? Um, and lastly, calling for the landlord when it is necessary. So if there's a problem with the house, if there's a problem with appliances, or we don't have Wi-Fi, we don't have bulbs, we don't have anything, water, who's gonna be in charge for that? And it's usually very handy to have everyone's phone number or create a chat in your house. So if there's anything happening at the house, everyone knows it, and you can include one in your to your landlord. So that's very handy.
All right. Thank you so much for setting expectations about roommates and just guiding the audience to success about roommates, Matteo. Thank you so much for that. So now we are almost at the Q&A. So here are just some final things to think about as you wrap up your decision-making process. So which could be that, do you need to purchase things like furniture, or will your place be furnished? Do you need kitchenware? Who do you want to live with, if anyone in specific? And honestly, is off-campus housing the right choice for you at this stage? And it's okay if it's not. On-campus accommodation is still a great option, and applications are still open. So we'd encourage you to apply even if you're not 100% sure, just so you have certain options handy. Here's also a practical to-do list, which is create a budget for yourself, get familiar with the neighborhoods using Google Maps, find local listings, contact landlords to set up viewings, visit the space in person. Also, please do not sign any lease until you have physically visited the property, reviewed the lease carefully, and just ask many questions before you sign anything. And once you're happy with everything, then only sign. All right, so with that, I will just open up the floor for some questions from your end. It could be about legal team, it could be for Matteo, or it could be for a legal team, depending on the type of questions you may have. I can see a question, even though Dhara is replying to you, how long does one take to get admission offer? So admission timelines can vary depending on the program and the time of the year that you apply. On average, international students may receive a decision within a few weeks after submitting all the complete application, but it also depends if you have submitted all the required documents. So if it's been too long, it's been 3 to 4 weeks, then I would suggest you just get in touch with the admission team just to ask for a status update for your application. All right. There's a question in the chat. Do the on-campus accommodation close during the term breaks or do they remain open? So yes, on-campus residence generally remains open during the academic year, including some shorter term breaks. However, during December holiday break, residence offices and front desks may close for the university holiday closure. So it is wise to just speak with the residence team and determine if you have any kind of accommodations that needs to be made. All right, I can see a question which is quite good, and probably Rodilyn or Mandy or even Matteo can answer this. So what are the best strategies to smartly secure a good quality and affordable room for students? Does anyone of you wanna take that?
Sure, I'll take that. Some of the things you already heard earlier in the presentation, right? It's important to make sure that you're communicating with the proper person. And so you want to make sure you're communicating with the owner of the property, the landlord of the property, and that you've seen it. Now, I know that's hard to do if you're not in Thunder Bay and you're looking at a place in Thunder Bay. So I see you all doing a great job of getting to know people in the chat, and maybe you're going to be able to form friendships with people who may be here earlier than you, and you're able to have them go and actually look at the place, right? And maybe you're on a live stream with them as somebody's looking around that place to actually know that it is being viewed before you make any decisions. But best advice is to always be able to view a place before you sign, or have somebody that you trust view a place before you sign. And again, making sure that it is the landlord or the owner of the property that has listed it, and just understanding what that relationship is. As we said before, if it is a place that you'd be sharing a kitchen or a bathroom with the landlord or a member of the landlord's family, you don't have all the protections under the RTA. So doesn't mean you can't move in. You just have to be aware that they may be able to evict you on very quite short notice, which if you move into a place where you're protected under the RTA, they can't evict you without actually having an order from the landlord and tenant board, which takes a few months to get. And it has to be for a good reason, such as non-payment of rent, right? If you're consistently not paying rent. So you have many more protections if it's a place protected under the RTA.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that answer. I think that there are some really good strategies and some really good advice. Few of the other things that I would like to highlight would be just to start early, like searching early, around 2 to 3 months before, before your arrival. Also compare a lot of other options before signing one lease. I'm sure there would be a lot of options available for you to just have a look. And also just ask a lot of questions, like ask what's in rent, is everything included? What would be the date set to pay the rent? All those small nitty-gritty questions, just go on and ask and be clear before signing in. All right. There's another good question that has come, which is, I plan to come with my husband and child. How soon can I start? How soon can I search for an off-campus apartment before I arrive? So for that, as I mentioned, like starting early is always good. Like 1 to 2 months before would be a perfect time frame to start looking for an off-campus apartment. Family apartments can take a bit longer to secure, especially closer to September intake would be when the demand would be high. So I would just suggest just exploring a lot of listings before arriving and just giving yourself a good time frame. Rodilyn, just to come off with this question, do you have any suggestions for for international students coming with their family in terms of legal aspect wise? Is there anything that you'd like to give?
No, nothing else other than to just say a landlord, they can't charge you more in rent for guests, and guests can be long-term guests. Guests can be staying with you. So pay attention to that. You want to avoid a landlord, if they say if it's only you, your rent is going to be this, but if you have your husband and child coming, I'm going to charge you more rent. That's not the way it works. Rent is all inclusive of however many of you are coming. So they do need to know how many people are coming, but there shouldn't be a sliding scale about I'm going to charge you more rent if you have more people moving in. So just be upfront with those kinds of things and make sure that your landlord understands.
Thank you for that answer. All right, there's another question. So I have been admitted for fall 2026. Should I start looking for accommodation now? I'm not familiar with anyone there. What should I do? Please suggest. So as we mentioned before, it is a good time to start researching, although as of now, the listings would be generally for the summer intake or, for landlords looking to rent someone for the summer. So I'm not sure if the listings must have been open for September yet, but if you can definitely start researching for certain listings, and if it's mentioned that it is the start date would be the September intake, that would be good. All right. Since there are no more questions, I will just wrap up today's session. If you do have any questions, even after today's webinar, you can email us at welcome@lakeheadu.ca and our team will be able to help you. All right. Okay. So thank you so much for spending time with us today. And if you haven't had a chance to explore Lakehead yet, you can take a virtual campus tour, which is there on the URLs mentioned in the slide. You can just have a look at our campus in Orillia and Thunder Bay. It is a wonderful way to just get a feel of our campuses from wherever you are in the world. I would like to give a big thanks to Rodi Lynn and Mandy for just coming to this session and giving your expertise and insights. Also, a big thanks to Mateo for talking in depth about how things work in Orillia and Barrie, as well as how to succeed, when it comes to roommates. So thank you so much for the three of you. Do you have any final words before we wrap up today's session?
No, good luck to everyone, and we hope to see you at Lakehead University.
Perfect. All right. So with that, I will conclude today's session. Thank you so much for joining and wish you all the best as you prepare for your journey towards Lakehead University. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. You can connect with us on social media. You can find us at Lakehead International on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We hope to see you in our next live webinar. Bye for now.